Hey guys, Dr. Steve here. I promised a mother that I would do a short video. She had messaged me this concern is that her 10-year-old daughter has anger issues and is a poor communicator and from a split home, and she's just kind of wondering, what to do, and she was concerned. So I wrote about this. I believe it's page 134 in my book called Finding Magic in the Mess, is about resisting labels. And labels are, when we put a label on something like anger issues, it's a strategy to help us to cope with the feeling of feeling helpless and feeling powerless. And so it helps us to try to get some semblance of certainty and order. Because when we feel helpless or powerless, we're feeling, in a moment, we're feeling chaotic. And so the next kind of level up in energy is to label something so that we could attempt to gain some certainty and order in order to try to solve the dilemma that's in our environment, or to solve the problem. And so it's fine in terms of a stage in the process of healing, but just know that it's really the stage that comes after feeling helpless or powerless. So it's not a long-term solution, but it's a very short-term solution. So here's why it's a great short-term solution in terms of getting you on your way. Is the way that I would interpret this is that you want to first look. We tend to label things when we don't value something, and we tend to label things when we want to get rid of something. So there's a few little nuances I think that is important that you know about. Number one is that there's over 4,500 human expressions that we can selectively choose from in any given moment. So in this moment, if I want to express something, I could use anger, I could use calm, I could use funny, I could use serious, I could use, there's about 4,500 of different variants and varieties of ways that I could express myself. So we have a vast repertoire of what we can choose from. So just know that first, is that your child has a quite versatile and abundant methods of expressing herself. The second is that each expression, anger included, each expression is a strategy. It's a strategy to get an outcome. So it's a strategy to get a particular result. And so anger is no different than that, because it is a strategy to get a result. Now, it's part of the parent's job to discover and get curious as to what is the result that she's actually looking to get. What is the outcome that she's looking to get from this particular expression? Now, you're not going to get rid of any of these parts, by the way, because as a parent, you well know that you have your own anger in terms of as an expression that you could emit and unload at any moment. And if you're a parent in a house, you've unloaded and emitted that particular expression probably hundreds of times over the course of your career as a parent. And each time you did it, it was a form of expression to achieve a certain outcome. So for instance, maybe you're trying to get one of your kids to do something, and you needed a little bit more forcefulness in order to make something happen in your environment, which is oftentimes what anger is. It's a force to shake up the environment, to get something moving, to get it moving in a direction that we want. So I would encourage you to go back into moments where you as a parent have even expressed anger, and go in and find out what was the point of me doing that in that moment, so that you could actually see how it works as a strategy. Because when you emotionalize it and depersonalize it and just say, wow, this is an expression that my 10-year-old has. She's expressing herself in a certain way. She's communicating in a way that I don't understand. That's just more honest. And it's not that your child has an issue, or it's not that your child's got a problem. It's part of the parent's job is to acknowledge that I have a problem understanding what is actually going on in a deeper capacity. So I need to elevate my level of curiosity and figure these things out. So number one, anger is an expression. It's nothing personal. It's just an expression, and you've done it many, 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 many times. And number two, you've done it many, 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 many times over the years as a strategy to achieve a certain outcome. So your job as a parent is to go in and discover, why did I do that? What is the strategy? What was I trying to accomplish at that time when I was expressing that expression, so that you could essentially see the value in it. Like, take a look at it. And you'll see very quickly, within a handful, 10, 15 moments where you reflect, and you reflect, mindfully reflecting on those moments where you've expressed anger, you'll see why you're doing it. You'll see clearly why you're doing it. And it doesn't change for your kids. You're trying to achieve an outcome, and so are they. And you're going to have a lot more empathy and appreciation for what process that they're going through. And you'll be more curious. And when you're curious, you don't need to label something. When you want to get rid of something, you need to label it. When you don't value something, you need to label it. When you just want to see something eliminated out of your reality, you need to label it. And you need to give it borders in terms of figuring it out. And so this is part of the path. So one is that we have many expressions, anger being one of them. Two is that they are utilized as a strategy to get an outcome. And so I encourage parents, go and find out why you do it when you do it, and what's the outcome that you're trying to get when you do that. And you will understand what anger is all about. I've done this, I did this process on myself years and years ago, and it's crystal clear how anger serves as a great strategy to achieve outcomes. And so I encourage you to go in there and figure that out. Because when you figure yourself out, you're also simultaneously figuring out your child at the same time, because you're realizing the outcome and the strategy that anger is utilized for when we're interacting in our environment. So as you figure yourself out, you're going to figure your child out. You'll be able to have empathy on that, and you'll be able to have a deeper level of understanding. And then as you figure that out more and more, your need to label things just lessens and lessens, because you realize essentially you don't need to control it, but you need to observe it. And yeah, those would be my recommendations. And obviously there's complexities to split homes. I was raised in a split home, and of course I was pissed off because it didn't look like I wanted it to look. I wanted my parents together at the time. And so I was pissed over that. Okay? All right. So that's that. It's a strategy. And I got mad many, many times. And I've continued to get mad at times. But I understand to a high degree why that occurs and when it occurs. So that's my encouragement to start, is to the process of delabeling by understanding yourself at a whole new level, which means that you got to go and take a look at those moments where I'm angry. What am I doing it for? It's just a strategy to get something. It's to get an outcome. So make sure that you could articulate why you're expressing that, and why is it useful. And as you do that over and over again, you're going to start to see your child, and you're going to figure, oh my God, she's doing the same thing, or she's doing really similar things as I do. Oh my goodness, that's what's going on. And then the label could release. Your heart starts to come on board again, because you get a little empathy. And oftentimes patterns start to change once you have that deep understanding. So that's my encouragement, just to start, is go figure it out for yourself. And as you do that, you're figuring out your child, and the need to label will begin to dissipate. And so good luck on that. There's many other suggestions, but I would say that would be numero uno to start with. And let me know how it goes. Okay, take care.